man.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna hear from you then because they're gonna be muted, huh?
No, they can hear him, but they're not gonna see him because he's gonna be you.
We had connection problems last time too.
Let me see your piece of paper. Thanks. What does the W stand for?
All right, Miss Kenyon, you're live.
That you cross the word out.
All right, Kenyon, you're live. We can start inviting people.
Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I know I'm live. Hey guys, I need you to come on in. Log on in. We're getting ready to start in a few minutes. And tonight we are going to be talking about misogyny, chauvinistic, sexist, feminist, LGBTQ, prejudice, and men's superiority, something like that. You know this is going to be really, that handwriting sucks. But this is going to be really good. So I need you guys to get ready to come on in and come lie with me, you know? Come liberate, innovate, and empower. I need you guys to call in. The telephone number is across the bottom. So I need you guys to call in and give your input today and tell me what you think, how you feel about these topics. Men having a strong dislike toward women. I wonder if a woman could be a chauvinist. I wonder if, you know, it's going to be some good stuff tonight, y'all. Come on in and log in.
You see it? I tried to tag you. For some reason, your tag don't make me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Anybody else? Billy? Yeah, we need to become friends on Facebook, right?
I'm with hip hop.
Yeah, but if you're my friend, I can see the rest of you.
Okay. What's your?
Sam his hot spirit.
Hey guys, tonight we got some awesome topics. Come on in. We are going to talk about misogyny once again, male chauvinist, sexist, feminist, LGBTQ, prejudices, and men being superior. But you know they always think they're superior, y'all. You know how I feel about that.
Yes, we are.
You know how I feel about that. So we are going to be getting started shortly. Everybody that's tuning in, I see you all. Byron, Teresa, Billy, how you guys doing? Coming on in. We get started at 7. I just want to say that I am so grateful that you guys are taking the time out of your evening to tune in to L.I.E Radio. We are actually on Fire Stick tonight, too, His Hot Television. So if you have Fire Stick, you can go watch us live. I think that is so phenomenal. And we'll be on Roku soon as well. That's a step up, man. We're going to do big things. Hey, Vincent. Hey, Al Green.
Do it off the go to his house or do it off the
Let me see your phone. I can get you right to it.
I'm on the Facebook.
Yeah. Is this your page?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go
Hey, guys, I need you to start a watch party. Everybody that's joining in, start a watch party. Get people to come on in tonight. I need you guys to call in at 9.
949-709-2775.
Need you guys to call in tonight. Give us your opinion on this topic. Topics, should I say. Real topics. Real things that people don't want to talk about because they're scared they're going to offend people. They don't like controversy. But you know what? There's controversy in this life.
Okay, you ready? Alright, I got you on.
All right. That worked. Am I doing a watch party?
You can. You can if you want.
Okay, I was seeing the video. Okay.
If somebody else is doing it, you can join theirs, you can start your own.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Christine, you ready?
Yep. Ready to get started. Hey guys, it's your girl Kenya. You've tuned in to L.I.E Radio. Are you ready to liberate, innovate, and empower? Let's talk about some deep issues, serious issues, and let's get to the nitty-gritty. Hey guys, it's your girl Kenya. Thanks for tuning in. We're about to get started. We got some deep topics. Are you ready to liberate, innovate, and empower today? So I've got my co-host here, Johnny. Say what's up, Johnny.
Hello, what's up, everybody out there tuning in? Glad you're here.
Camila.
Hey family, glad to be here. I hope we can have some great conversation today.
And so what I brought up earlier in the introduction before we actually got started with the show, I hope everybody is phenomenal today, feeling good, feeling great. I hope you're feeling your best selves. I hope you are ready to be the best version of yourself every single day. But what we're going to talk about today is misogyny. That's one of the topics. I'm going to let Johnny get us started. As you know, misogyny is a strong distaste toward women. And you know what? I don't even know how anybody could feel that way about us because we are so phenomenal. But Johnny, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you think about misogyny?
I think the way, well, actually, I'm gonna say that misogyny is something that it shouldn't be in our vocabulary. It shouldn't be in our place. But of course, we have to be realistic that we do have men that practice or operate in this particular type of language of misogyny?
Well, I really don't know too much men. Most of the time, the men that I know love some women. Well, then again, no, you might be right. The way society is raising up, especially in single parent homes, um, they have a strong dislike and distaste toward women. That's why we're being disrespected in the music, being called the B
Absolutely.
word, being called out of our names, being treated as if we're less than. But let me ask you a question. Do you feel that a woman has a place, and that's why men feel like when they're not in the place that they feel that they think they should be, it brings on that strong distaste toward them?
We have the, one of the things that we do deal with is hurt men and hurt by their mothers, hurt by women that they've been involved with, and also dealing with also a teaching of different clubs and whatnot that will empower a man to a certain position, or and he begin to operate in that type of have that type of attitude. So, not saying that it's something that some do just think about, but I think it just comes out in that hurt, and sometimes we don't really know that we operating in that way of misogyny.
Camila, talk about it.
So I think that when I think about different cultures, traditions, and the way that we are raised, we hear a lot of how men should be, the roles that men should play, the roles that women should play. And there's this idea, and when we're raising children, we're being raised up that boys should be strong and powerful and don't cry because that's going to show weakness. And I think that we put a lot of these standards um, we put a lot of these standards in our mindset that it grows for some people. And it is okay to be powerful, but what does powerful, how do we appropriately and in healthy ways live within a powerful nature? There's nothing wrong with being strong, but how can we be strong in healthy ways? And I think a lot of times when we hear these words, and you should be this, you should be that, people grow up with that upbringing. I know oftentimes I always hear, as a teacher, I hear children saying, well, my dad taught me this, and my mom taught me this. And people take that with them into their life experiences. So if you're in an environment where there's a male dominant figure and that figure is very aggressive or strong, then you're going to carry that personality characteristic with you in your daily life. Right. And if you don't know how to balance that with I don't want to say feminine energy, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, you're telling me to be feminine. No, that's not what I'm saying. I think there's a balance that men and women should have when we're operating in a strong nature and we're operating in a powerful nature. And I also want to say that I think because words are very powerful,
Yeah.
and we have the English language, Spanish, we have different languages, Swahili, all different, Mandarin, whatever languages it is, words have meaning. And I think a lot of times we take this meaning, we'll look at the word superior, and it kind of causes us to judge what it means to be superior.
Right.
So when you think about the word superior, oh, I need to be superior, that means I need to be higher than somebody else.
Absolutely.
So because of the meaning of words, if you're not taught how to, once again, have that balance, then we'll go around thinking I'm superior, so I need to be superior.
Right.
And so, our language causes us to be in a space of judging instead of just having the capacity just to be in a space and understand that men and women, we are equal.
Are we?
I think so, yes.
You think we're equal?
Absolutely.
So you think a woman can do what a man can do?
So when I say equal, when I say that we're equal, I'm not meaning that I can lift 100 pounds
Right.
What I'm saying is in in our relationships, in our responsibilities, in our one's not greater or higher or more important than another. That's when I say equal. Like, it's a balance. We balance each other out.
Well,
Right.
there are some people, there are some women who feel, I mean, I understand the equal part, but you got to kind of be careful with that too, because some women take that to another level as well. Me being a single mother, I remember my son used to cry. I'd be like, stop crying, Sarah, not realizing that I'm basically calling him a girl because he's crying. And then when he grows up and has no emotion, I'm like, then I complain about men like that now, like they have no emotion. But why? Like you said, because we're speaking that and we're training them up that way. But I still feel like there is a proper place for a woman, but it doesn't mean that we're less than a man. So I don't even understand how misogyny still exists in today's society. Is that even in America?
Oh yeah, definitely, and we see that in the politics. And one of the biggest things when it come down to what's being fought, rights, and that's one of the things that we want to touch on as well. Because when it come down to rights, when it come down to sexist, when it come down to male chauvinism, we see these sexist movements of women who want to be equal, who want to be a part of the working society the way that the man is, be respected within those arenas. And so because of the simple fact that in the United States of America and most countries, of course, men has always been at the top, and they've always led in all areas of different platforms. And so the woman came along with these battles of women rights and whatnot to actually compete on a level as men. And some we have to deal with as well when it comes down to athletic. They're moving into areas of, want to play football with men, want, this type of things of this nature. And so can that happen? When we talk about being equal, how equal are we? And when it becomes, when you deal with the word of misogyny and you deal with the word of male chauvinist, when it comes down to that, we have to be clear on that is not practiced to a point where, a man would hate a woman. But we had to put that in perspective when a man is being the man and the woman is being the woman, when there's a yin and there's a yang.
Well, even in today's society, I see a lot of men starting to stay home while the woman's bringing majority of the money. I mean, that happens too. And sometimes a man, I think that misogyny comes in too when the man starts feeling jealous or insecure about that situation, although they agreed to do it. So now they're starting to tear down or belittle the woman or make them feel guilty for aspiring to be better. You know what I'm saying? So I think that has a big part to do with it too. And I think that, and then there are women that throw it in the man's face. So it goes vice versa. I think today's society, men are acting more feminine. Women are acting more manly. I think that we have to understand who we are, our roles, and still understand that we can still be great as a woman, still be great as a man, and stand in who we are. But I think the confusion comes in when people step out of place.
And that's true. Now, when you say step out of place, then what does that mean?
To me, okay. And you know me, Johnny, I've always been the one to control. So, to me, a man cannot stand that. And I'm not supposed to try to control anybody, not a man or a woman. But that strong alpha personality that I have comes across as if I make a man feel as if he's less than. I get that sometimes, I don't know who you're talking to. Yeah, you're not controlling me, but it's that alpha personality that I carry that makes but I understand that I have to learn to be submissive to a certain point too, and know when to humble myself and be more kind and what we call ladylike. And see, that's the problem, because back in society, it was the woman stays home and does all this stuff. But now we're in a new era. We're not in that place anymore. So, but there's still such a softness about a woman. But I think that we've had to take on so much responsibility as being single parents. We've had to take on working double jobs. We've had to figure things out on our own, even with men in the house. It's happened. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is a woman does have a softness about herself. So I think that's what I mean by place. Does that make sense?
And when you say place, that brings me to, we are a role-driven society.
Right.
You know, and because we have roles, once again, I think that brings us to a place of judging. For us to say, okay, I'm feeling less than because I'm not doing this, that, or the other. My partner or friend or whoever, woman or man, is doing this, so that's causing me to feel less than. The only reason that we would feel less than is if we have something to compare it to. And because we are comparing,
that's good.
We're in a place of, because we're comparing what we see, we have a hierarchy, we have a place and a role. And when we create that space, now we're putting ourselves in a place to judge if it's better or worse. I don't feel good, I don't feel bad. But if we have nothing to compare it to, then we just are. You're just being. You just be strong. You just be powerful. You just be superior together. Did that make sense?
Yeah. But we haven't even come to a place where we even want a woman president. You know, even people still complain about women pastors, even though I have my own perspective on that, to be honest
that's
with you.
a great topic.
I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with it.
I'm ready for that topic.
So we'll talk about that another time?
Yes.
That's still another topic when it comes down to
I am ready for that topic.
That's a topic of...
But it is. But I'm saying
It's
we
a
don't
part of
even
it.
want to see... We don't even want to see female president. So what do you think about that?
I mean, you know, it becomes a part where, just like you say, are we ready for a woman president? Are we ready for a woman to lead a country? So my thing is not in a male chauvinist role, but of course can come off to be that if you would, you know, think about it in that way. But at the same time, I do believe in the role of a man and the role of a woman, and I don't think that one is less than the other. But at the same time, when it comes down to, if I was to have my own opinion, would I want a woman leading the country? I would have to really think about that, and how would that look? And
women rule.
Wait, Chris. Okay, so when you say role, what role should a woman and a man be playing in society?
I think one of the things that I believe, when we even get into the biblical side of the woman and man in the position, I think it was always for a man to actually lead. And so whether one would agree with that or not, I think that is the position of a man. And I'm not saying that a woman could not do it, because where there is no man to actually step up, a woman have always taken that position.
Wasn't there Deborah?
Well, we have scriptures where there was women that definitely took those positions, so we don't definitely disagree with any woman that would actually take those positions. But at the same time, when there is a man present, can I
it just becomes so magical.
And I mean, it's in the sense of the word. And so when we deal with these words of a man, when we deal with the word of woman, lady, gentleman, all these words has a place, and what your role is, and how you think of yourself. So women, when they rise to a level of that, I wouldn't say superiority over a man, and I don't think a man will rise to superiority over a woman. And the position is one that is honored, even in the Bible. So in any organization or structure, the position is always, honored. And yes, there's positions that women are honored in those positions, especially in the motherhood of raising and rearing.
But see, that's what I'm
children.
saying. You're still going back to, we're good for the motherhood and the stay at home and the kitchen we can. That's why I said, and where I would mess up at, but at the same time, I would always clear it up in the position of the such a powerfulness of the word woman. Womb. Okay, I understand womb, carry the baby, have the baby, walk around. I done walked around
of the woman
4 times and got 5 of them. But that's, listen, that doesn't
creators
make
of civilization.
You know what? I'm not playing with you. It has been put on us that's what makes us powerful. Why can't? Okay, so what about the woman that doesn't have children? And can't have children.
She's still a mother. She's still what she as the creator have created, both male and female, she still is mother.
Yes.
She
I
still
agree.
have the power, the authority of a creator,
To create life.
and rearing everything within her is still motherly.
Right.
And so I think that sometimes you have to grow to that too, to actually embrace the mother within you. So I don't think it's just the birthing of a child that makes you that. You are born that, and we can even get deeper in the expression of the word, because we get deeper into the word of queen, and we get deep into the word of goddess. So even with that, she becomes all that she is.
Right.
And so she don't have to take the position of the highest seat on the throne to actually be lifted up.
I like that, Johnny. That's pretty good. But I want to say something else. So what about when you hear someone say, you act like a man, you think like a man, and then we got
Man.
I'm about to go there with the
We got
what we call
some like
studs.
that.
Right.
I mean, but we have some. I'm sorry. Go. Let
I
me hear
don't.
you.
I personally don't understand. I mean, 'cause I've had people tell me you're very aggressive, and that's manly. And I grew up playing sports. Like I played soccer all my life. Cleats, everything, all that stuff. But I just don't feel that my personality. I can be aggressive and strong, and I will. And I'm, if somebody comes at me, I'm gonna defend myself. But I don't see how I am being a man or how I'm acting like a man. I don't understand. I really don't understand that comment.
I've heard it
really
a few
don't.
times toward me.
I've said it before, and I mean, and it's just the fact that I know that a woman has to defend herself. She has to, make a man feel as though she can, deal with any situation.
I don't necessarily think it's women feeling that we have to make someone believe that we can. I don't, and I'm speaking for myself, but I don't go around life trying to prove that I'm a strong woman. I just am who I am.
Right.
And my personality is one of, I don't play games. I'm gonna, I'm cut and dry. This is just who I am. It's my personality. Growing up in sports has kind of shaped a lot of my personality and how I work and deal with people and how I see life. I'm competitive.
Right.
But I'm
I
still
think
a woman.
I think in life, though, I think when it come down to these particular words of misogyny and these type of words and chauvinist and sexist and feminism, I think you have to find a balance. You have to find that particular, agreeable place where, in every arena that you go in. If I walk in that door right there, there's somebody in charge in that door right there, whether it's a man or female. If I walk in that door, there's someone that's charged in that door. And so every door that I walk in, there's somebody that I have to respect. You know what I'm saying? Because this is your house.
And
I
I
was
think
about to
that's
say
okay.
something sarcastic. I
There's
was going to
nothing
say,
wrong
every
with that. I
time
think
you
that's
walk in the
okay.
room with me, I'm in charge.
But when the man walks in, especially I got the deep voice too.
Then it's so magical.
But I mean, and then we have this thing when it come down to what does God look like? I had a man approach me in the
that's
store.
a good question.
I had a man, actually a guy, a youngster. Actually, he sir, can I talk to you? And he wanted to try to, tell me about that this Christ will be coming back as a woman. And I said, well, hold on, we gonna, you gotta help me out with this thinking. But I'm not saying. And then one of the things that I had to allow him to understand, well, from my perspective and my thinking, that when it come down to a God, a universal spirit that of creator, that he has he's not female nor male. He's a spirit.
Okay, so with that ideology,
Exactly.
when we think of spirit and it's just spirit, it's neither male nor female, and it's just one. How did we get to a space of male
or
female, misogyny,
the roles,
the
But
roles?
we,
Like,
but
we got
see,
to that space.
that's what we have to understand though. See, we're still dealing with a word of a universal spirit, a spirit of the Most High Creator of this world,
Right.
and the Creator of mankind. And so, if we was to even deal with this in a belief system, this Creator that's not male nor female operate both as male and female within male, because if he's everywhere, as one who said within the scripture text, David said, if I made my bed in hell, he's there, meaning He covers all space.
Right.
And so we deal with the word he, but we got to understand what that means. We want to put a gender on it based on sexes. But see, based on who we are as in the creative form, we are spirit. Once you leave the body, you're just spirit. The body is a shell.
Okay, I understand that. So when we go back to Adam, he said name. He started naming stuff. Mm-hmm. So even if we go back, way back then, he named, I guess, the role, right? Wouldn't he have named what we were going to, I mean, I'm just asking. I'm not being funny.
From the word that he used, woman.
But did he name her a woman, or
he did? Oh, he did.
According to the scripture.
According to scripture.
Let me say how I feel about this.
Okay.
Let me say how I feel about this. I'm a single mother. I've had to play both roles. Now, I'm not saying that
for both roles. Remember the word she said, play.
Play is a very important word. Yeah.
Go ahead and play.
I had to be the male.
Johnny.
Even though I could never be a man, I had to still kind of do both roles.
But I don't think you can. You cannot play that. Well, play. Sorry. You know what? So, a man brings that special energy to a space that a woman is not going to be able to bring to that space.
Some men bring it.
Okay. And in the same way, a woman is not going to be able to bring what a man can bring. Or a woman's going to bring something that a man is not even going to be able to bring to a space. I'm with that. Anyways, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, you are fine.
Continue.
No. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna always say that when a woman says,
that's that male chauvinist stuff cut me off.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Because I'm the boss. I'm the boss. No.
Go ahead, Johnny.
When a woman says something, and when it come down to the authority, she walk in the room, and some can come in, demand, respect and demand her place in the room, and then at the same time, there's a voice that's gonna come in and demand that respect over that. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, when my mother would say, don't do this, and then if I do it, okay, I'm gonna tell your daddy. Now when you say I'm gonna tell your daddy, for me, that was like, let me get myself under control. You know what I'm saying? Because I respected, not that I didn't respect her, but I knew that there was a more consequences that I'm going, that I'm gonna have to deal with when I'm dealing with him, versus, her whipping, then his whipping. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but there's some women that'll knock a man out.
I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Come on now. There's some
WWF. What they doing WWF now? And what is the other one? The fighting.
MMA
It's MMA. Yes, I've seen some women go down. I'm like,
women can knock some of y'all out.
So where are we separated at, though?
Let's be honest.
Are we separated? Are we the same?
Okay.
If we was on the battlefield, are we the same?
I mean, women go to the military.
Are we gonna fight the same
fight?
fight?
Go to the military.
Women are on the front line. They out there. Now, I think what.
You feel alone in here tonight, huh? Sam ain't saying nothing over there.
I trust a woman having my back before I trust a man?
That's your personal.
Of course.
Issue. Because back in the slavery days, if I can get started, if we want to go there, when you guys were hungry, you ate off our breast. When you got come on now, us women, we're making sure you were okay when they were tearing you down. We came and nurtured you back to health. Yeah. So a woman can give you the strength that you need more than even what your male partner that y'all go out drinking and doing the most with. When the woman's at home waiting to nurse you back to strength. Don't get me started.
Okay, let's talk about it because we've come through 400 plus years of slavery now. And, and I was watching something that's very, very important to note that I really didn't even consider. But even in the 1960s, some black people in the South were still, sharecroppers and dealing with slavery still during that time because of the geographic location that they were in. They were still kept in, what is the word I'm looking for? In
plantation.
Right, they were kept on plantation. So they, I was just watching an interview where a black man, he was older, probably in his 90s, and they were interviewing him, and he didn't even know the civil rights movement was going on because he was kept so isolated. So that just helped me to, when you were talking about slavery and how we've come through and women have nurtured the family and tried to keep the family together when we were being separated. That was a very good point, Kenya.
Yeah, just saying, we
But
got y'all back.
I feel that, and the thing is too, I believe that when you have that harmony between a man and a woman, now that's a powerful tool right there, though.
Yes.
But so, and also when it's in perspective, because of course, if you had an idea of wanting or having a man, whether it's husband or whatnot, then you would want that man to um, play a part in a particular role in your life, whether it's, and that would be one that would be right. What would you say? A protector, one would who lead, one who would take out the trash.
Absolutely. Um, if I can, I'm going to change it up a little bit here. Then you got to be careful with the down low. The men that now you don't know if they like men, they say they're going out with the homeboys, and you don't know if they going out with the homeboys, and vice versa for women now, and women going out with the homegirls. So I mean, that has a lot to do with things in society too. Being a lesbian and hiding it, and not hiding it, or being homosexual and things like that. So I mean, a lot of that has to do with today's society as well. So what do you think about that? Me bringing that subject up.
Well, um, hmm, you know, that's a situation there, and I've heard stories of men that would come out this particular closet and get caught up with some situations. Matter of fact, on the Breakfast Club, they was actually talking about one guy who called into the show, and him and his wife, they end up drinking and doing some things, and he said things kind of got out of hand, and some things happened that when after it was over, she had to question
The whole situation.
like what was that? You know what I'm saying? And he had to actually defend himself after the moment that had taken place. And it was something that he said that even though he was married,
It's echoing.
It's okay.
even though he was married, the um, the sexual preference that he preferred was a homosexual sexual preference, that she was able to satisfy him in that way.
Okay.
But she was not. Now the relationship now is on the rocks. It then took a turn because this is something she didn't know. Now she found out something that now mind you, the man is not going out dealing with any other men.
They did this together.
They did it together, but it still was something that was inside of him and something that he enjoyed that night. And she had to question his sexuality.
Okay,
And
so
now he
that
has to
goes
deal
back
with
to
that.
Tank. I think it was Tank recently that said that if a man does something with a man, it doesn't, and I think that's just justification. If a man does something with a man, it does not make him homosexual.
He
Now,
said,
I think
and
he did have
specifically,
he retracted though.
he said specifically, he said if a man did something one time and said he didn't like it, that's what they kind
Oh,
of
is
dealt
that
with.
what he said?
Yeah, he came back and was talking about what he was actually trying to
But
retract
what
and
would
actually
make
say what he
but-
said.
I
but
thought
what
he came
made
back
you
and said
want
something, I
to
don't
even
know.
try with a man? But it's not just men. Let me just go ahead and be honest. Women, we are tried out. Not all of us. Some of us have been tried. Many of us have been tried. Like, I'm tired of men, so I think about going to women. Some women are like, I ain't never doing that. So I think that this is something that is swept under the rug and not dealt with. There are many people who struggle with this particular issue. And then we got the swinger couples, and we got all of these things going on. And I think that has an effect on male and female coming together, being the strong foundation, and misogyny. I think this all ties in together.
You got a lot
know?
of issues.
Yeah.
But and now when it come down to the LGBT community, the LGBTQ, I want to say everyone have their battle. They have their thing. Matter of fact, I had this conversation before because I'm a big component of freedom, and not that I agree with what everybody does. I believe what I believe, and so no, I don't. I believe in a woman and a man, and if you believe something else, that's on you. But we can't because of we can't continue to go and fight a battle for everyone to agree how we live. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna live the way I want to live, and so long as you're not disrespecting the way I live, that's something and that's huge right there because I think that many people inject themselves in other people's lives, and they want to battle with these people and what they do, right? When God gives us a level of freedom, right?
Yeah, we have
And so
freedom.
it's just like, and we talked about a bit, just like when we talked about, and I deal with this when we talked about the within certain communities when they take on multiple wives. That's another lifestyle, right? But then people would disagree with that, right? But they have a battle too. So normalizing things would be us just saying we agree with everything, right? But if a man don't stand for something, he'll stand. How'd it go? If you don't stand, you got to
You'll
stand for
fall
something.
for
You'll fall for
anything.
anything.
I'll
And
be
so,
honest. I
normalizing
don't
things.
really like talking about this subject, and I'm going to
It's a rough
explain why.
subject, y'all.
It causes a lot of controversy
It
because
does.
Controversial.
I have it runs in my family. I do not agree with it, and I don't even like to say that. I don't. I don't think that that's the way we are. When people say they're born that way, I mean, I have family that say they're born that way. I don't know if I agree with that. So I have to be careful. I don't like talking
Hey,
about it. I'm gonna be honest.
it's an
I
opinion.
do not like
I think-
talking about it.
I think people deal with the opinions.
I
You
fell
have
out
your
with
opinion.
my own family for years. And I remember one day I was like, "You're going to hell," and he was like, "Well, you're going to hell too, because you got all ththese kids out of wedlock." So I mean,
There it is.
You see what
There
I'm
it is.
saying? So
That's something.
but that was
that's
when
it.
I was in religion, real like didn't understand. I was really judgmental. I didn't understand
I-
grace.
I-
I didn't
you know-
understand grace or mercy.
Right.
Like I just recently did a live video talking about that as well. So I'm just saying that that's a topic that I have a hard time talking about. I really do, and I think a lot of people don't want to talk about that topic.
I still agree with scripture text. I mean, and one of the things that I cannot do is according to the scripture text when it says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged," right? And when it deals with that, it deals with a person that is without fault. So, being that we all have faults, it's kind of hard for every time we judge a situation, then we don't look to be judged ourselves. So that's a point. You know what I'm saying? So I think the amount of freedom that God gives is if we do fall into the category of Christianity or anything of a belief system, and like I say, I like to always say, whatever you believe, that's what you believe. And so, as you fall into your truth, you hold true to that by living that. You understand what I'm saying? And if you live that, then it can be it's not as difficult when you deal with certain things because you live that. You know what I'm saying?
But
Right.
I think that spirit and that life is ruining the family unit.
I agree. I think being fruitful and multiplying your seed, I think by us, as especially when I deal with us as a people. And so when I see us dying and us, the different situation, we have to be better within our communities. We have to be better as far as embracing the creation of civilization.
I was reading something the other day, and it said that back in the slavery days, they would use something called broke back or break back, to where they would literally rape the male to
Right in
break
front of the
them.
woman.
Right in front of the
And their
woman to
kids.
break them.
Absolutely.
Do you think that has anything to do with what is taking place today?
One of the things that we dealt with, and I always say this, from before Catholicism and colonization, all the way through slavery, all the way to this day, that we as black people has gone through this type of torture, rape, the type of just total devastation within lives in our communities because of the simple fact of who we are. And so, yeah, with that, it creates this type of what I call post-traumatic syndrome, that, you have a reckless people. And so when you look at communities, not saying all, but you do have this mindset of a people who has been hurt, who have been brutalized. And so when we deal with even the police and the way they deal with us as well. We deal with the people who they feel, do you care about yourself? And as you have been broken through generations and generations, you have to look at yourself. And once you start believing in yourself and caring about yourself, now you look at other authorities within the police system and the judicial system, and you take back what was taken from you. And that's your, who you are as a person. You lift yourself up as being somebody and caring about your people.
I would like for people to call in on this subject. It's quiet tonight. I always have some callers. I want you guys' opinions and thoughts about this. Call in at 775-964-8764. So let's go to prejudices. So do you think that if someone says that they do not agree with a lifestyle, are they prejudiced, or maybe it's the truth, or is it only their truth?
If you don't like the lifestyle?
If you don't agree?
If you don't agree.
I think disagreeing is just based on your belief. That's just your truth. It's what you, if I grew up believing something and what I've been taught, something else has to deter me from that. Something has to make me believe that what you are embracing is right for me to be able to embrace that.
So for me, prejudice is saying because you are same gender loving, or you have a different belief system than I do, because you're Muslim, prejudice is saying I'm not going to serve you, be cool with you, be a friend with you, socialize with you because of who you are. That's prejudiced, and being, discriminating against a person. But you don't have to. We don't have to agree on anything, frankly, and we do not in life. We have different belief systems. We have different religions, and that's, a bottom line there. But when you are saying that I'm not going to be around you for a certain reason or whatnot, that's where the prejudice comes in.
Okay. All right. So, Johnny, let me ask you a question. You being a man, what do you think when people say, as a woman, we are crossing the line in our femininity? What makes you feel a woman is now crossing the line?
Again, we talked about
I need your personal opinion.
My personal opinion is always respect. And I think, my thing is this: when you're in somebody's environment, the main thing is, I feel, is if I feel disrespected, or if you don't respect me, I don't want nobody around me in my presence that does not respect me or my presence. So therefore, being in a relationship, if you talk to me any kind of way, I think you don't respect me. And so, but yet and still, of course, I have to give that type of respect, right? But if I give that type of respect and I come in as a man and you have accepted me and what I offer as a man, that is to be respected. And also vice versa, I would say that a woman that come in and she's being a woman, her womanism, right? Her being a woman, a feminism, that is to be respected. And so when one disrespect the other or feel that the other one has no place, then I think that's a problem. So yes, when a woman, if I feel that I'm doing my part, or I'm in the arena, even if I'm your supervisor or anything, and I'm doing my part and that is disrespected, that's a problem.
Okay, all right. I'm still kind of stuck right now, y'all, on my thought process with all of this, because me, again, as the woman that I am, I just believe that too much is put on the woman to say that she's a woman. I really do. I think that men are given the easy way out to say that they are a man.
I don't know about that.
I know. As long as they provide, as long as they can use their lower extremities to do what they do, and it's like you guys have 2-3 things to prove that you're a man. We have like 50 million things that we have to do.
A man shouldn't have to prove that he's a man.
Can you explain to me what you mean by the proving?
Okay.
Okay.
So in today's society, a man is, if he's the head providing all the money.
Okay.
If as long as his sex game is on fleek, And that's basically what you hear today. As long as a man can take care of you and his sex on fleek and if he's faithful. Us, we got to keep house, we've got to support the man, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. We have so many things that have labels and things that have been put on us to say that that's what makes you a good woman.
Right,
Men
okay.
don't
That's what
have
you're
all
saying.
these things put on them to qualify as this great man.
So you think that society is placing more emphasis on the role of a woman? Like
Yeah.
we have a big to-do list,
Yes.
and the men's to-do list is the little
Yeah, I do,
short.
and I think that
okay,
falls
I understand what you're
underneath
saying.
chauvinist and misogyny. I do. I think that we.
But I think that's an opinion as well. That's your opinion. That's
Yeah.
fine. But at the same time,
It's an opinion.
but at the same
All right,
time,
let me ask Sam. All right, Sam, you ready to come in on this real quick? Do you agree with that or do you disagree?
I still have to process this because you said that the women have to prove they have more points to prove to be a real woman than a man does.
Yeah.
Right. Society puts more emphasis on a woman. Like our to-do list is, our
Okay.
checklist is so long.
Okay, I would. If you're coming from a societal point of view, then I do agree.
Thank you.
I do agree.
Society.
Men, especially now, if you go to different countries and look at how the women are treated,
oh yeah,
It's different.
real.
it's
second-class
worse.
citizen.
It's worse. You know what I mean? But from the society now, if you look at the biblical point of view,
Right.
there is a lot placed on men to be a man. God puts a lot on the man, and the man is to die to himself. Love your wife as Christ loved the church, and the woman is to respect the man, because that's what we need. We need respect from our women, but our women needs love, and so God doesn't play those games. You know what I mean? He holds the man accountable for what he needs to do. But society outside of God, yeah, man takes advantage.
Yeah, I honestly believe that. I mean, and it makes a woman feel like she cannot add up, and then especially when the man has that chauvinist attitude, it's like, if you don't do what I say, I'll just go find another you. You know,
Another you. If you ain't
not you per
man,
se,
I'm
you
finding
like another one.
some other than you.
That's your problem, Johnny. That's the problem. It's like, I'm not gonna work through and watch you grow and become the woman that you were created to be. But I'm just gonna, with my chauvinist attitude, I'll just go find the next one and maybe return to you when I feel like it. I mean, that's how I see it. A lot of things going on in society. I mean, I'm not saying that women are innocent, because let me tell you something. We can be very trifling. We can be very sneaky. We can be the biggest manipulators. All of that. That too. But when you have all of this stuff placed on you to try to live up to these standards, if you don't cook, don't be with her, because food to a man's stomach, what is it? If you can make a
man's
heart through his stomach, and all of these things. And sometimes that can it feels like pressure. So now the women feel like, I don't need a man. That's why all these songs, and half the people that's rapping these songs have men. But I'm gonna go get the bag. I don't need a nigga. I don't need this. I don't need that. It's like, now we're walking around like, I don't need you. You need me. And I think that's where the disrespect that you and Sam are talking about comes in. But stop placing so many things on us. Let us become who we are in our own time, and accept us for who we are.
And again, I think, it's that balance. Again, it's like when you are with someone or choosing someone out there dating, it has to be a balance. It has to be a mutual respect. It has to be, and then when it comes down to relationship, like I said, I believe that everybody has to deal with their truth, and of course we deal with how we grew up and what we saw as to what we want in relationships. Whether some people had, like you said, we talked about on the last time when we talked about how women would be the dominant one who would actually hit a man as well. So, but at the same time, what do you want it to look like when it comes down to the man and the woman? So the man and the woman, what are the roles? And you have to actually talk about things. How do I want that to look? Do I want a woman in my house to take the position of being over me? Nah, I want to agree. I want to be able to both of us be on the same platform, and that if I'm gonna do what I do, and if you expect me, right, to go out and work and do these things, then I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna expect you to do this. So we have to definitely, have some equal playing ground.
Right.
That's good. We got a caller.
Yay.
About time. Somebody calling. Y'all out of line on that line out there not calling in. Making me feel some sort of way. Hey, caller.
Hello.
How you doing? So what do you think about this topic? I know you got a lot to say.
That comment I just heard just woke me up. Did I hear correctly that Kenya said when it comes to relationships that there is a lot more pressure on women than men?
That's what you heard. Absolutely.
That's what she said.
She did.
Is she crazy? Or Kenya, are you crazy?
Yeah, I'm liberated, innovated, and empowered. What you got to say about that?
Oh my God! Well, not when it comes to this. No, that is absolutely. I can't agree. I can't co-sign on that one. When it comes to the dynamics of what a man is, where you said that a man has to, as long as he provides, stays faithful, and great sex, that's all he has to do. First, let's deal with that. You even realize how hard it is just for a man to even provide, to be the provider.
Even stay faithful.
It is difficult. Yeah.
That is no small feat.
Be struggling out here.
I like to think that when it comes to with women, it's almost of the same demand. We don't demand you to put food on the table. All we demand is actually we want you to be faithful and give us good sex. There's not much more, as far as that is concerned, unless you talk about raising kids and stuff like that. But if we talk about a strictly male to female relationship, I think there's more pressure on the man in a relationship.
That's a bunch of baloney. Knock it off.
Oh yeah, it is. Please, what else a woman has to do besides give good sex and be faithful?
I just said all the things.
No.
Cook,
You just said that they had a lot of things, but you never listed it.
We gotta take care of kids. We have to dress a certain way, keep ourselves a certain way, keep the body right, keep the body tight, keep that tight. Everything has to be done. If it ain't done, then you guys go find you another Betty.
But isn't that a woman's insecurity? She feels that those are the things she has to do to keep that man?
No, not if he's putting that pressure on her. Men put pressure on today's society. Men are like, she has to look a certain way, she has to be a certain way, she has to do this a certain way. I'm telling you how it is.
Well, let's put it this way then. If that's the case, then that woman shouldn't be that way in the first place if that's not her true self. So if she wasn't a woman, when I meet a woman, that's who I started with, is who I should end with. I don't want it to be all of a sudden 2-3 months later, she's a whole different person.
Unless she
don't dress like she used to.
Well, no, because people change. People
evolve.
Evolve. Exactly.
And, I'm of the belief that the person that you meet today is not going to be the person you meet tomorrow, a year from now, 3 years from now.
Exactly.
We're always going to be in a space of evolving and learning. I heard someone say, they were having a conversation. The younger couple was talking with the older seasoned couple, and the younger couple was saying, "Okay, we don't know each other," and the older couple said, "Well, you haven't lived, because it takes eternity to be able to know who somebody else is, and you may not even ever get to that space of knowing truly who a person is, because we're always evolving and changing."
And I think that's one of the hardest work, actually, is waiting, or not waiting, but actually, I would say waiting or being there while both people actually go through transformation and change. Every change is kind of difficult for each person going through that change.
It is.
And I think you have to be in a mindset of genuinely to be able to maintain a love for a person as they go through
that
change.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy. And so I think that's why, I commend people. When I see people being married 20 years, 30 years, Man, that's my
That's
Superman.
beautiful.
That's
When
my
I commend
Superwoman.
people that's been married 20, 30 years,
Them super people
them
right there.
super, like, man, they've been through it all. They've been through all. Ooh, they done seen
Should lay
them
your
turn
hands
to
on
like
me.
but
15 people.
I think that we're crossing a different thing. There's a difference between change and growth. Growth is something that I can understand, where a person's growing.
But growth
They're,
brings a change,
you know,
don't
they're
it?
doing things differently. But changing when they were specifically saying about how she dresses, her makeup and stuff like that, you know, and they become different people. I think that because it's funny that we talk about this about growth, but what's the one thing that women always complain about when it comes to men is consistency.
That's true. That's a
Y'all
good
want
point.
consistency. If we are not consistent, you out or you're gonna complain because that's one thing you men are is you're not consistent. So why can't we say we can't hold the same thing to women about being consistent? You can grow, but you still have to have some type of consistency. It's one thing when you change a person, when you want them in your life and you meet them and they're they're a beautiful person. They dress a certain way. They always maintain a certain lifestyle, how they do things. But when they want to change that, that's different. But then they go, well, they put that expectation on the man and say, well, you're pressuring me to be this way. No, we're not pressuring you to be that way. You should still be able to be you. Don't conform. And if this is not the person you were because you only did it, because
But
as
you're
women love to
talking-
say,
I'm
don't
sorry,
give
real
me,
quick.
don't give me your representative. You're giving a representative.
But
Don't
you're
give me a
talking
representative.
about something. I'm saying in society as a whole has put expectations on how a woman is known as a woman is what I'm saying. I'm not just saying when she enters in with one man. I'm just saying period.
Societal
The
standards.
society, it's how society says this is how a woman is known as a woman. I'm saying I feel like men
Well-
have less things to be known as a man in society. That's all I'm
But
saying.
is that a lot? I mean, what is asked of a
I
woman
know.
to be a woman? Is that a lot? Is it really a lot?
I don't know, with the whole Me Too
Can't answer that
movement
one.
It's you're
right now.
you're a
women-
sexist, Johnny.
women-
You're a sexist.
With this whole Me Too movement, women are changing that rule. It is no longer that way. Women are setting
what we-
standards. Women are
that's what we're talking
changing how they're being treated and acted upon.
Oh, yeah.
Women don't even want to be treated like women anymore. They don't want you to
treated
open
like
the door
men.
anymore.
No.
What you doing holding the door for me? I don't need you to open the door
They
for me
want
no
to be
more.
men. No.
Women, they want to be men. Women,
No, I do not. No, we do not.
Women, are getting,
Okay, no.
women don't even want relationships no more. They just want to have fun because they
do.
focus on their careers.
Say we
The
gonna do our own
ball is
thing.
everything has changed when it comes to this day and aspect. And then also when we talked about men, about how about this so much, being gay or whatever case it may be. And I don't understand about the whole thing about whether being born that way, and you went back to about slavery. But I also feel we're getting a lot more gay men because a lot of them are being raised by women. Too many of our black
Oh,
men
you
are
got to
being
throw
raised
it
by
up.
women.
Wait a
They're getting
minute.
those feminine
Hold
ways.
up. I know we ain't got a lot more time on this radio. I got to cut this short in a minute, but I got to step in on this one because you can't put that on the. I don't agree with that. So you're trying to say we raising some. I got to watch my wording. So you're saying we're.
Kenya.
Oh, well, think of it this way. Let me make a quick point. Aren't more and more women are wondering why there's no real men out there? Why do you think that's coming from? There's no real men out there anymore. Why men behave more feminine? You get more men who are not as masculine as they used
We're
to
not
be.
following the Most
You know,
High's commandments.
it's not just it's not like they're purposely trying to make these men this way. It's just that this is what these boys
I don't think
are seeing.
that. I don't think that's what that is. I disagree with that. I think not when it comes down to saying that a woman's teaching will actually create homosexuality. But I mean,
Thank you, Johnny. I felt some sort of way about that. Me raising 3 boys.
No, I can't agree with that. But because why? There's that platform there. That whole conversation there is so widespread on. When we start injecting reasons why a person is the way that they are, there's so many different reasons why people are the way that they are. And so that's one thing that we have to consider when we start talking about, and I don't want to, like I said, that can be a touchy subject, so I don't want to start getting into,
We don't want to bash.
the way that we would talk about it as though this is something that is detrimental, you know what I'm saying, or something that's so bad. But what I'm saying is, when people agree with these things, that's just what they agree with, you know what I'm saying? And so, yes, we have to get back to, teaching kids, and that choice that they make is going to be theirs. So if you teach a child right, that child's still going to make a choice and a decision. But I think we as parents has to actually continue to teach our truth and continue to put it in our children, and then they'll go and make their own decisions. But we definitely have to hold on to our truth. We can't blame ourselves for them becoming something else.
And caller, I'd like to say this, and I'm going to let you go because we got to log out. Thanks for being faithful. I know your voice. You have called and stayed consistent as a man every week. And I want to say that
we need that male figure. We always need a male figure. Yeah, we need that male.
I appreciate you. We actually appreciate you a lot.
We need them bosses up in there, up in here.
I kind of got a little in my emotions for just a minute. Camila pulled me back, and I was about to be like, wait a minute.
That's what friends are for.
But call in next week.
I like stirring the pot, too.
I see.
Talk to you soon, caller.
So superiority, too, as we deal with that position. And I always used to say that, and this is one thing when I look at a woman, when we talk about even the man being the head, and we talk about a woman that goes to work and she does for her boss. And I mean, in church, she provides for her pastor. She do anything for those men, but then come home and don't want to do it for her husband. We got problems.
We have
with
to talk about that because I think that's
another subject too. So anyways, guys, I want to give you a little hint on next week. We will be talking about narcissism.
Yes.
And we're also going to be talking about biracial dating and biracial children. So look forward to next week to liberate, innovate, and empower. And let's lie, guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning
everybody.
in.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Kenya R. Young with L.I.E International, motivational speaker and empowerment catalyst and transformational coach. If you are looking for someone to come into your business to empower your people, innovate their minds, and give them new creativity to take your business to another level, I am your girl. I work in corporate events, commercials, or maybe you just need me in your church event. If so, you can go to my website at kenyaryoung.com and book my services right now.